Hello, Dynamic Stars. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Azurite 22 coming to you. And today we're going to have a conversation. I'm not even sure what I'm calling this video yet, but this will be my response to what's going on in the world. I literally just got off the phone with my very bestest of friends. We've known each other over 20 years. And I swear she's the Malcolm X and I'm like the Martin Luther King. We've got totally different viewpoints, but we're coming to the same spot. And I guess let's get into it. I am pissed. I am pissed as all hell that someone could put someone else's life at jeopardy and have no regard at all for another human life. That's first and foremost. Let's not even get into the color thing. It's just, what the hell is wrong with you? Do you have any sense up here? And you've done this before? This is not something new that you've had issues. So that's the first level. Then we, of course, get to the black and white, because this would not have happened if it was somebody else that was non-black. So one, the humanity of it, and then two, you did it only because of a color, and then you're getting a pension? Anyway, I don't believe he should get his pension. I don't care. I don't think he should get it. This is a wake-up call. He should understand what he did. I am not saying that his family shouldn't get compensation, that his pension shouldn't go to them after he passes on or whatever. His family should not be penalized, but he should. That's just me. The greater conversation for me is, what do we do? How do we move forward? What is the emotional context of all of this? Because I'm coming from a spiritual perspective, one would assume, oh yeah, love and peace and joy. Yes, I have all of that. But there's a history. There is a whole path. You know, if you follow me on this channel, I talk about our ancestors. We have to give homage to them. We have to have a conversation with them. Because for me, this is the only way to move forward, because you and your ancestors together put your hand into their hand. They are going to show you some things that you don't want to see that happened in the past. Some people that I was a part of a group with, that I am a part of a group with, shared some pictures that I call incendiary pictures in times of slavery, where the owners treated, especially the black women, like cattle, and are depicted, holding certain body parts up in the air in front of the camera and grabbing, so on and so forth. Completely naked, the black woman, and they're fully clothed and groping and showing ownership in just the way they're functioning. To me, these are very incendiary pictures. So I, of course, immediately deleted them, because I already felt my ancestors going for yank. And I and they already have been working to release things. So one, for me, not saying don't go back and don't teach yourself what happened, but while you're teaching yourself what happened, you cannot allow the energy of what you're seeing to push you, propel you, to ignite you to do something, or to fan the flames of an emotion, let's just call it hate, animosity, whatever. You don't want that to be fanned. The idea is, when you work with your ancestors, they show you what was, and they explain at least mine did, there is karma throughout the eons, throughout the times. And there were a lot of things that people did. And black people, ancient Egyptians, Kemetians, as the ancient Egyptians called themselves in their own writings, Kemet, that was the land of the blacks, Kemet. I am sure as a first people on earth, they might have done some things that are not so nice. You got to think about these things in the grand scheme of things. As time went on, there is an accumulated karma. And at some point it happens. I am not trying to say that black people deserved it because they did all of this stuff. Because, as we all know, ancient Kemet was infiltrated, was ransacked with wars. And as time went on over the dynasties got, lighter and lighter. The melanin kind of washed out. So there was a gradual change. So when you say ancient Kemet, which dynasties are you talking about? So that is something that must be made absolutely clear, or do your research and find that out. And I'm going about this in a very roundabout way, I know. You know how I am. I get to talking. My point is, you are not a first people on earth and did nothing wrong. You're not squeaky clean. Things happened. By the same token, the people that did the devious acts in that time, they were functioning from pure survival of themselves. The humanity had to be washed out of the people that you're using for your survival because you needed it. And the literature about that is also very clear. The very fact that you had factories of Africans that they did not have names. They did not really see anything. They were just working in the fields and they were put back in the factory. These were children. And they don't know what day it is. They don't know what time it is. They don't know anything because all that they were really there for was to work. Think about the, let's just call it deviousness of that plan. Think about why it had to be done that way. Because if the person who is doing it shows or believes there's humanity there, how could you do that? So on both sides of the fence, there was brainwashing done. When is the brainwashing going to stop? And that is where I'm coming from with that. Yes, I took it to a historical point of view, but for me, that is the way to look at it. You have to show what's happening with both sides. I am not agreeing with the deviousness of the people who were the owners and the purveyors, I guess that's the word, for the Atlantic slave trade. In no way, shape, or form. Look at me. I'm melanated. I'm not going to agree with it. As a black woman, Caribbean American black woman in this country, I can tell you some stories too. I choose not to, because I was raised by a Caribbean American woman who experienced directly black and white fountains, black and white entrances sitting at the back, the whole bit. She was there. My mother didn't talk about it. My mother's philosophy was, What are you going to do to make your life better? How are you going to help yourself? Because nobody out here is going to help you unless you help you. Yeah, very Republican thinking. She's a Democrat, but very Republican thinking. The whole pull yourself up by your bootstraps type. Totally, totally. And I grew up that way. Whenever I came to her and, oh my God, can you believe what they did to me? You didn't show them your value. You didn't explain to them who you are inside. They're only responding that way because you haven't told them yet. Go ahead and show them. Show them who you are. And I bet you things are going to change. But my mother was crazy. She wasn't. She isn't. The way she came at the conversation of racism or the Great Divide or differences of opinion, however you want to euphemistically call it, was you show your value. Show who you are, the human that's inside. Once you show them that and they treat you bad, that's when you go after them. Because she never said it, but she did it. My mother worked in the public sector. And she worked, God, I don't know, what is this, like 50, 60 years ago? She was a Caribbean, come to this country. Didn't even speak the language when she came here. Learned it, and she was treated horrifically. Some of the stories I heard from her, from what they said to her at work, I don't even know how she's standing. My mother answered each and every one of them back to their face. Because she is or was an essential worker, frontline worker, people depended upon her. And even when they spit on her, and yes, there were white people who spat on my mother because they didn't want a black boop, 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 because YouTube, censors things, helping them. She got up in their faces a couple of times, she told me, and she was like, you are in that bed. And if you don't want me to take care of you, you're going to lay there until somebody else that looks like you comes and cleans you. She left. The people that looked like the person laying in the bed didn't clean them. So after a few days, because this is back in the day, if, they didn't have the rigid rules like they have now. So people got away with stuff. The persons in that particular situation, they apologized to my mother. Because they were lying in filth, because their own people didn't clean them. And I know that is not something that is wonderful and fabulous, but that person, my mother told me, had been harassing her. And that day when they spat on her and harassed her, verbally again, so both of them together, that was the last straw. She was just like, she couldn't take it anymore. And that's what she did. She allowed their own ire to teach them a lesson, because she already knew that the people that were supposed to take care of him wouldn't, and they didn't. My mother did the job that she did because she loved the work. When you love what you do, when you have a passion for what you're doing and how you're doing it and everything about it, that supersedes all color, all race, all ethnicity. And I know this video is supposed to be about how I feel about what happened with George Floyd. and the how he was murdered, because there's no other way to say it. He was murdered. It is much deeper than that one incident. That one incident was the last straw. People went off, as they have every right to do. And if you notice, it's not just black people going off. It's everyone, or a lot of people that don't look like black people. It's disgusting that you have to walk out of the house scared. I watched a video from Roberto Blake, and he just had a commentary, and he actually had to stop the camera for a second and then come back, because he is a black man, and he had a situation with police officers. And if it wasn't for the white people that was with him, he said, he doesn't know what would have happened. That shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. And by the grace of God, by working with our ancestors, our Egun, with our spiritual guides, we will raise the vibration of this nation so that we don't have to deal with this anymore. And I just saw a beautiful thing. Governor Cuomo here said that if the policies of the police departments in New York State do not get revised and revamped by April 1st, 2021, if they don't turn in something that looks good and can get approved, they are not going to get funded. Yes, the police departments will not get funded. They will have no money. That is what Cuomo is putting through right now. I applaud him. That is how you do things. You make it so that the money will stop if you don't fix it. And this is what is happening here. The consciousness of the nation has been raised. Okay, I'm done. I'm going to go back to the point where I was talking about your passion, and I'm going to finish with that, because instilling in yourself and in the people around you to focus on their passions, the thing that they would do no matter what, even if they didn't get paid for it, that is what will save us as a world, not just as a people, as a world. Why? Because we're striving for something that is important to us. Generally, when we find that thing, that is the thing that we came here to earth to do. It is what the Creator put within us. We each have a piece of the divine within us. And by sparking that part of the divine for our destiny, for our life purpose, it automatically raises us to a higher consciousness. And once you're at that higher consciousness, there are certain things that you're not going to be able to do. You won't be able to rectify. You're going to see the dichotomy in things. And you're going to question it. And you're going to start functioning differently. Now, if we do this all as a people, as a race of humans, yes, first as a race of people, first as black people, getting rid of our inner demons and striving forward, it's tough because we have so much shit to get over. I mean, the side eye. Somebody's coming through the door and they see you and they just don't even hold the door. Meanwhile, you just saw them hold the door for somebody else that looked like them. I mean, stupid little slights like that. And that's just the little stuff. I mean, just being stopped on the road. You know, my daughter's father was stopped. He drives a nice car. My older son, was with him. And they were playing music, driving not above the speed limit, but they got pulled over. My older son was like, why? The other one said, my daughter's father said, hold on, let me handle this. And very quiet, very calm, hello officer, here's the registration, license, so on and so forth. When he checked it and came back, that's when he was like, did I do something wrong? There's something wrong with the car or anything? I was just checking. There was, and he made up some excuse that there was something in the area that, that he thought possibly was attributed to them in the car. Foolishness. They were stopped for absolutely no reason other than they were two black men in a nice car. Period. And as a black man, you have to travel with your identification, or else God knows what happens. And that's exactly what Roberto Blake had said in his video as well. And it's not something you want to think about. It's not something you want to deal with. I worry about my son every day, both of my sons, because catch somebody on the wrong day, a police figure, authority figure. I even got upset with the whole Trayvon situation. I didn't want them wearing hoodies. Yes, I was like, no, I don't even want you to be profiled. I don't even want them to get it in their mind. Don't even wear it. I went there because I am a mother of two young black men. I don't want you to see them down the street and then start shooting just because they're wearing a hoodie. Oh, I know my friends got mad at me, but the mothers were like, I get it. My son stopped wearing it for a little while. Went right back to him. But these are the things that we feel. And it just gets to be everyday, normal. And it can't be anymore. Anyway, I'm done. I want us all to raise our vibrations, to get in tune with our ancestors, so that our ancestors can help us, can heal us, because they went through it, and they are still helping us, walking us through it, and teaching us how to function, how to maneuver. I wouldn't say that my Egun love, white people, but they do respect that there is a place for them in the world, that there is a destiny for them, and that there is a shared destiny. And it's more important for us, each individual black person, to know who we are and what we personally bring to the table, because all of us have a special gift that only that one person has. Once we find that thing and bring it to the fore, that is how we as a people will heal enough so that we can just say, you know what? I'm not accepting this anymore. I'm not doing this. And you don't have to be mad. You don't have to be upset. You're just not going to accept it anymore. You're not. So that's all I have to say. I wish you all, my dynamic stars, a beautiful, blessed evening. I thank each and every one of you for following me and letting me rant. I will talk to you later. Stay well. Find your peace. Hold on to your ancestors. They are reaching out for you. Reach back out to them. Gotcha.